Hey everyone, welcome back to RJK English and RJK Urdu. So again, if you have not gone through the Hindi series, which is Devanagari, I would definitely recommend checking out, or maybe you just want to learn Urdu. You can focus on this one. We are going to use a little bit of Devanagari in this because for Hindi speakers that want to learn Urdu, I want them to be able to learn it as well. So, last two sessions we went through introductions. Now we're going to get into actually writing. So let's start with thinking about what are the keys to understanding Urdu. Well, one is it's a cursive script, and characters have a difference between when they're at the beginning, when they're at the middle, and when they're at the end. Okay, so for instance, and I'm just going to demonstrate this. This is ah. Okay? But if it's in the middle of a word, or this one's at the middle or the end, let's say bata. This is ba, this is ta, and this is ah. There's no tilde thing on top of it. So it has a different form here. It doesn't have a middle form because it doesn't connect to anything after that. So this will look different once it's in a word. Okay? It will look a lot more similar than if you remember Devanagari. Devanagari, the middle version, well, no, even in this it looks a lot different. So let's take E, for instance. This is E. Okay? At the beginning of the word, it's still going to have this mark, and then it's going to have this this at the bottom, two dots at the bottom is going to be a ya. So let's say E. Let's make it an English transliteration. Eat. Okay, this is going to be the retroflex T, duh. But here's the E. Okay, now what if it's in the middle of the word? Let's say batija, which is nephew. Batija. Here it is in the middle. It's this little hump with the two dots below it. E. What does it look like at the end? Beti, which means daughter. I'm going to make it very clear here. E. Notice the A looks exactly like the E. This is A. Beti. Here's the ta, and then you get this E at the end like this. Okay, so there's a difference between when it shows up at the beginning, when it shows up in the middle, and when it shows up at the end. And that's very characteristic of Urdu. It's also very characteristic of Arabic. It's also very characteristic of Persian. So any language that uses this script, it's going to be a characteristic of that language. So let's start at the very beginning. A very good place to start. We're going to try to start going from right to left. I know some of you probably like Japanese comics. You had to start reading them from the right to the left, right? We're going to do the same with this. Let's start with just like we started in Devanagari. It's just a line, right? And it looks like I messed it up. It's just a line down. I'm going to put an here. This is going to be our short A. What does this look like in Devanagari? Okay, what's ah? You already met it. Same thing, has this little tilde over it. We're going to make this a capital A. And in Devanagari, it's ah, like that. Okay, I. Right? So I, now we're going to have to use markers. So I is going to look like this. It's going to have a little hash at the bottom. That's going to make it an I sound. And I'm going to make that a small I. And in Hindi, it would be this. I. Now, I want to make the E. I'm going to start with this. And you know, I messed up last time and I just made this when I was showing you earlier. My bad. You always have this line first, and then this makes it an E. I'm going to make this a capital E. Or actually, I'm going to make it this with a line on top of it like that. That's going to be our E. In Devanagari, it would be like this. E. Okay, next I'm going to make short U. It's going to be the same line, but it's going to have this little mark on top. It's a swoosh, kind of like a Nike symbol that's turned the wrong way. That's going to be a small U. And in Hindi, it would be this. In Devanagari, I'm sorry. Now we'll make oo. Ooh. And I'm going to differentiate it by putting the swoosh on top again. Ooh. And for this one, I'm going to make a U with a line on top of it. All right? In Devanagari, that's what it would be. Ooh. A. Not E, not A. E. And let's make this a little better. Looks like this. Sorry, I've got something in my nose. Okay, that's going to be A. We're going to use this E. And in Hindi, it would be this mark here. Now we're going to do A. Look, it's the same mark, but I'm going to put a little, that little hash below it. That's going to be the A. And that's really how Urdu is written. I'm not just doing that. This is always going to be AI. That's why when you look at Hindi movies like Dil Chahta Hai, Dil Chahta Hai, that's how you say it. It's not Hai. In Sanskrit, it's I. But in Hindi, there are no diphthongs. It's Hai. Hai. Dil Chahta Hai. And if you want to know how it's written, Dil Chahta Hai, or Dil Chahta Hai. That's your hai. Okay? And you can see that line is the same as this line here, hai. Okay, so we've got our e, and that in Devanagari would be this. E. Okay, we've got a couple more to go. Okay, now O. You're going to recognize this. Doesn't that look just like oo? O. It's going to be an O. In Devanagari, it looks like this. And aw. Aw. Where does that mark go? It goes on top. I'm going to put this a little lower so that we know that that mark is for this one. This is always going to be AU. And that's how you do it in Devanagari. What do you notice? These are the same sounds, the same vowels as in Devanagari. The only one that you could argue is not there is in Devanagari we have this re, like for Krishna. This is our re, which is basically RI. So that is not in here, but the sound as it is really is in here. So anyways, it's the same, okay? And that's what I want to start out as, is just showing you that Urdu and Hindi, even though they're using different marks, they have the same vowels. All right? So that's it for today. We'll move on from this and expand on it next time. All right? Make sure to like and subscribe. And do you know anyone else learning Urdu? Make sure to tell them about this as well. All right? See you next time.